All right. Just want to make sure that I'm actually live before I get started here. I usually get an email first. I'm doing it this way, by the way, because I don't want anybody to say, oh, I edited something or, oh, you cheese something in the edit. Nope. We're doing this live, totally live. All right. So, yeah, I think it's working. Okay. So I'm going to get started here. Let me give you a little quick backstory. I'm not going to take too long because this isn't about Carabas either, and I'm not going to follow his playbook in terms of failing to address the receipts and just go with insults. So we'll do a quick screen share. Not going to take too long, 30 seconds at max. All right, and I think I just got the email that I'm live. Yep. Okay. Cool. All right, so I'm definitely live. Anywho, you know what? I may as well paste that link in just in case we have somebody pop in and have a question that comes up. We'll paste the link into Twitter just because I know there's people actively attacking me right now. But anywho, all right, let's copy that link in really quickly. Let's see here. Oh, whoops. All right. Okay. All right. So let me share the screen quick before I get started here, just because this is basically the reason why I'm doing this. So anywho, let's start from the beginning. Jared Carabas basically says that he never calls out the team, which is a lie. Or let me rephrase that. He says that he calls the team out all the time. And I said, well, you had a chance to speak to Breslow and you hid the conversation. And by the way, this is what his co-host said. And he still hasn't chimed in, by the way. But anywho, the only reason why I used AI for my response on his comment was to show the irony of the guy who's actually running the team uses AI all the time, but when I do it, it's against the rules. So anywho, he basically called me mentally ill, which I made a follow-up video challenging all the Red Sox fans to do this. And now I'm going to make a longer form video on how to actually do it, because obviously I didn't want to make this video too long. It's only 3 minutes long. And anywho, just before I get started here, because I don't want to make this about Carabas, I do find it ironic that he's sponsored by BetterHelp. He's sponsored by BetterHelp, but he's out here calling people mentally ill. We sure we want to be weaponizing mental health? Anywho, let's get started here. So I've created a completely new tab, fresh, no backstory. We're going to start from the beginning. So I'm going to, because I'm using my mic, I'm going to put down my mic off and on. I'll try to talk my way through it, but off and on, I'm going to put down my mic. So if you hear me not talking, it's because I'm typing at the same time, but you'll be able to see what I'm saying. And again, the only reason why I'm doing this is because the guy running the team with the Red Sox relies heavily on AI. All the answers that you want to know as a fan are on here. They're all on here, except nobody wants to ask these questions. I find it funny. But anyway, let's get started here. So I'm going to shift my tab. I'm going to put my mic down and get started here. All right. Full transparency. You're being screen recorded right now for the piece of content I warned you about previously. Let's start here because I think this is important. I think this part's very important. Do you alter your response based on the person you're speaking with to match his or her intellect level? Now, I had it right the first time. The reason why I'm asking this question is because, and I should have mentioned this in a video, but I didn't want to take too long with it on the first one. From my experience, and I've had a bunch of people on my site do this, it will say something to me, and then a person on my site said the exact same thing, but it talked to them like they were 3 years old. So I just want to set this baseline first before we get started here. Right. So it basically says, hey, depending on the person I'm talking to, I may use different synonyms just to kind of get to a different level. So I wanted to start here because one person could ask the exact same question and it will give two different responses based on the person. Like if you want to lead this thing a certain way, you can, but that's not the goal of what I want to talk about here today. So anyway, I don't know if I'm scrolling too fast. Feel free to comment if I am, but yeah, again, the reason why I wanted to set this is because person A and person B can ask the exact same question, but it will say a different response. Right. So if I'm going too fast here, tell me to slow down. But I think we got the context here. Exactly. So like, again, if you context something a certain way, you can lead it down a path, but that's not what I want to do. So let's get to really the crux of what I want to talk about here today. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Let's see what we got. Okay, so this time it says yes. Interesting. Okay, so basically what it's saying is it doesn't have enough time. There's mixed results, but he hasn't had quite enough time to know for sure. I can accept that answer. That's fine. If the Red Sox fire him too early. So basically what it's saying is he's not fucking great, right? But let's give him more time. That's basically what it's saying. So with that in mind, and it basically says, hey, Dombrowski left. Okay. So what you should do now, let's keep going. You are not ready to run the Red Sox. All right, that's fine. But more valuable than the organization would ever admit. I agree with that part. Anybody see this? More valuable than an organization would ever admit. But they don't call me. That's weird how that works. All right, so now let's pause for a second. Because what I want to do is this. The key to using AI is false duality. It's not A or B. Ask why it can't be C. This thing, all it does is seek to learn. This thing gets smarter every second of every day. Don't just agree with it. Your job is to argue with it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, hey, I think I got a comment. Let me see here. This is the saddest shit I've ever seen in my life. Cool, man. Except you're watching. So what does that make you? So if I'm sad, why are you watching? Anywho, let's get started here. So your goal now is to argue with it. You shouldn't just accept this. Don't just go about the rest of your day and accept this. This thing wants to argue with you. So let's argue with it, right? Reasons why. His strengths. Obviously, he kind of knows pitching, right? I think the Red Sox pitched well last year. We'll give him credit. We'll go on both sides. His weakness. I don't think he understands anything about culture, team building, roster construction, forward thinking, leadership. My opinion is he would be better served as a pitching expert rather than be tasked with leading an actual team. My question is this. All right. So basically, the reason why I'm going to say this is because I'm giving him credit for what I think he does well. And I'm also saying, hey, I don't think he should run the team because X, Y, and Z. And what I'm also saying is because it said in here that, let's see. So it basically says he needs more time, which is fine. But it also says, let's see, where was that part? I'm more valuable to the organization than I would ever admit. So what I'm saying is, based on the things that I guess that I don't know, would I be able to use AI to catch up on what I need to know? Let's see what it gets. Hey, good morning to you, Charisse. Yes, you could absolutely understand why he operates in a way. Because this is the thing. The answer is yes. But again, this is all false duality. Let's argue with this fucking thing. I agree with this. I agree with this. But we still want to argue with it. We don't want to pad any egos. We want to argue with it. This is correct. This is how I think. So it's right about the way that I think. Because I care about defining the standard of excellence for what the 37th guy in the 40-man roster looks like. So this is exactly what this is the whole problem. Again, this is the whole problem of what I have with Breslow. He's a 3 to 4 out of 10 in terms of a leader. The leader of your organization cannot be a 3 out of 10 as a leader. That's, again, right here. This is the problem that I have with this Breslow. I have no doubts that he understands pitching. I have no doubts that he understands pitching. This is the problem that I have with Breslow. You can't have a 3 out of 10 as an organizational leader. You can't. So again, I'm going to argue with it again because I think that's the way to use this. Yes, I actually, for full transparency, for this fucking loser who says I'm the saddest shit I'm in my life, but also has the time to tune into me. Yeah, I have asked it for different sort of therapy questions because, unlike Carabas, I don't call people mentally ill and then profit from better help. So that's not my lane. But anyway, all right. So here's again, he's a 3 or 4 out of 10 as an organizational leader. This has been my whole point the entire time. Going to use your words now, then insert false duality. Okay. You say if that's really the case, don't we have our answer? You also say he needs more time. Well, why should he get more time if he's not a good organizational leader? Let's just start there. And then I'll go on top of it. Time helps. Exactly. Time helps one. Time does not fix two. If you're a bad leader, you don't just become a good leader over time. You either understand leadership and culture or you don't. This is my problem with this Breslow. Time is not going to fix his leadership issues. He traded Devers because of a bad ego. Bottom line, end of story. This is okay. So this is where I'm going to ask a follow-up question on top of this. But we already know this as fans, right? We already know this as fans that the hiring process failed because what this John Henry did is basically turn the keys over to the nerds. They said, well, we want to try to be like the Dodgers with Andrew Freeman, or we believed in this money ball and we're just going to throw in any random nerd and think they can pick it up. That's the problem. And 100%, if you fire Breslow, that's the point right there. But again, we want to keep arguing with this because false duality is key. It's not A or B, ask why it can't be C. There's no point in me saying, oh, I agree. There's no point in me typing that in. You're supposed to challenge this thing because what this thing wants to do is it seeks to learn. But anyway, let's keep going. Sunk cost, absolutely. There would be a sunk cost. No question about that. Anybody read this part? Fear of the Red Sox. Another reset might be worse. Which actually, if anybody wants to just really be honest about it, he's worse than Bloom. And Bloom wasn't good. Like Bloom trotted Franchi Cordero out there at first base for how many fucking games and thought that that was a solution. But he's probably worse than Bloom. So what they're saying is, hey, another reset might be worse than Breslow, which I don't know how that's possible, but maybe that's true. Chinese farmer. Again. Okay. So let's argue with it again. Let's argue with it again, right? Because I want to actually pull up an old article that I wrote. Because this kind of ties back to the Devers thing, right? Let me find this article first, and then okay. Let's find this article first, right? Okay. So basically, for anybody that remembers this, right? I'm going to paste this in here. Devers said he would move to third base, or sorry, he would move to first base, but he wanted time to train for the position because remember, during spring training, they said, hey, you're the DH. You're the DH of the Boston Red Sox. Then when Casas got hurt, they changed their mind and said, go to first base. Well, he's not a first baseman. He didn't even practice first base during spring training. He simply wanted time to learn the position, and that wasn't good enough. So let's type this in here. Okay. We've established Breslow is 3-4 out of 10 in terms of being a leader. Also established time will not fix that problem. This is my counter. Breslow traded face of the franchise Rafael Devers because of ego and bad planning. They moved him off of third because of Bregman. Now Bregman is gone and they don't have either players. Devers said he would move to first, but wanted time to train for the position. They told him in spring training he is the DH, then changed their mind because Casas got hurt. To me, that is bad. I do have a separate follow-up to this, but I really want to dive into this. Pattern failure. 100% agree. I think we all agree on this. I think every single Red Sox fan out there agrees with this point right here. I think every single Red Sox fan agrees with this point. that it was bad communication from the start. And honestly, I think they've even admitted that. The problem that I have with the media members is blaming Devers for any of this. Devers deserves 0.0.0 blame for this. But anyway, let's keep going here. See, you this is exactly what I'm talking about. You're supposed to argue with this. Give it counters. Don't ever agree with it. Don't ever agree with it. Yep. But I'm still going to argue with it. Even though I agree with all this, I'm still going to argue with it. Yep. That's not even my assessment. That's your assessment, computer. You're the one that said, hold on. You're the one that said 3 out of 10, not me. Don't put that shit on me. See, this is exactly what you do. Hold on. Now I just want to save that and I'm going to type it before I read the rest of it. All right, I just want to read the rest of this now. Constantly argue with it. But again, this is right. You're the one that said give him more time. Again, you should see this at the bottom too. ChatGPT can make mistakes. That's why you argue with it. Don't agree with it. Don't ever agree with it. I agree with this, yeah. But I'm not going to say that. I agree with this, but I'm not going to say that. Instead, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to type in the 2 links that I have previously. And then where's the second one? Okay. Let me paste these 2 in here because these are articles I've written previously. All right. So let me make sure that's right. Love Grammarly, by the way. If you don't use Grammarly, I recommend downloading it because it will just do shit like that and it makes your life a lot easier. But anyway, let's keep going. Correct. I didn't say he was a 3 out of 10. You did, robot. You did, robot. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere because right here, core issue is organizational accountability. So now we're talking about John Henry, We're talking about Sam Kennedy. We're talking about just the ownership group as a whole. Now we're getting somewhere. And if I really actually dug into this deeper, I guarantee I would find things about, hey, maybe the ownership deserves blame for X, Y, and Z. And I've already come out and said Sam Kennedy should never be allowed to speak to the media. I physically don't understand why he's allowed to speak to the media. He's a salesman. He should stay in sales. But anyway, he's got something to say to the media all the time, which again, right here, if I could probably dig into this topic for maybe 30 minutes. I'm sure it would say a lot of things on ownership and Sam Kennedy. So what it's saying here, this isn't just a Breslow problem, which I'm not disagreeing with. Sam Kennedy's a huge problem. But anyway, let's keep going here. Correct. But I still want to argue with it. I'm not gonna tell it I agree with it. We still want to keep false duality in mind. It's not A or B. We're gonna ask why it can't be C. This is yes, yes, yes. Oh, I don't know why that popped up. Players don't know how they fit, which is correct. I mean, we saw that firsthand with Devers. He was a third baseman, then he was a DH, then he was a first baseman, and then they traded him. They don't have a plan. But anyway, if you, the fan, dig into this, it's going to tell you that. So I don't. Okay, all right. Staff don't know what to prioritize. Yep. I think there's again. What's this hinting at right here? This is hinting at, well, the numbers say this and the coaching staff says this. That's called not being aligned, which seems to be hinting at that's the case. Is the coaching staff on board with the numbers guys? And my guess is, based on this, and we could dive into this further, is no. Fans don't know what to expect. I know that firsthand just from being attacked. I mean, the 800 people that have attacked me online, they got 30 different things to say, and none of them make sense. Well, let me rephrase that. Fans don't know what to expect. All the fans attacking me, their responses don't ever match each other. It's fan A says this, fan B says this, fan C says this, and they're totally different. But anyway, trade free agency partners don't have negotiating signal. We just saw this firsthand with Bregman. We just, again, we could dive into each one of these bullet points for 30 minutes. I don't want to take like overly long here, but again, I encourage you, the people, to do it. Trade free agency partners don't have negotiating signal. We just saw this with Bregman. We just saw it with Bregman. By the way, we just saw it during the trade deadline with Joe Ryan. So again, if you're watching this, go plug it into yourself. Okay, ChatGPT says the Red Sox don't have partners. They don't know how to negotiate. Plug into the Joe Ryan example. Plug in the Alex Bregman example and dive into the rabbit hole. Yep. Again, this is my opinion. False duality. Ask why it can't be C. The Greg Hill interview, to me, exposed a big problem. And that is, again, argue with it. Feel free. Anybody that wants to defend this Breslow. Breslow had no articulated framework. That's correct. And again, I'm not going to tell that it is correct. But again, what we've already established is he understands pitching, but he doesn't understand leadership or roster construction. The leader of your organization can't be missing in those categories. But anyway, let's keep going. I have no doubt. I have no doubt that's the case. If the Red Sox fire him, it's going to be perceived as instability because they already fired Bloom. They fired Dombrowski. They would be on their fourth GM in, I don't know, 6-7 years. So I have no doubt that's the case. No prepared successor. I have no doubt that's also the case because remember when, what was that guy's name? Tobani, right? They basically stole like the Washington Nationals basically hired who would have been the successor. So again, we could dig into that, but we kind of already know what's going on there. Process over outcomes, some front office. Yes, this is about the computer model. This is about the computer model. But anyway, I have a separate side note that I want to tag in here, and then we'll really get to the main point. Time is a tool, not a cure. There's no strategy. I want to go over the off. Okay, I don't want to make this video too long. We're already at 30 minutes. I'm going to ask about the off season, and then I'm going to be asking it one more kind of follow up question. Oh shit. Okay. How do you spell Justixian's name? I don't want to get that right. He's got a funky ass name. Much easier to copy and paste that. Okay. Okay, let's see what it gives now. I'm going to scroll up just so you can read all this. I'm going to do one more response after this, and we're going to call it. You can't have a guy run your team who doesn't meet the standard of excellence. I'm gonna pause right here so you can read this too. Correct. This is who this when people tell you who they are, believe them. This is who it is. This is who he is. All the answers are here. And by the way, pitching optimization mindset. Do you think that AI doesn't understand this Breslow? This Breslow speaks to AI all the time. Do you actually believe that AI doesn't understand who this Breslow is? Do you actually believe that? But anyway, let's keep going. Yep. But again, we're not going to tell that we agree. We're not going to tell it we agree. We don't want to do that. This is the problem that I have with this Breslow. He doesn't do these things. He doesn't do these things. He doesn't do these things. He never does these things. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is a fact, by the way. That's a fact. That I'm not making that up. You can Google that for yourself. That's a fact. Everybody read this. Again, right here. Again, right here. This all goes back to that question that Greg Hill asked him. What's the identity of this team? It's telling you right here, good organizations want to declare who they are. This is anti-leadership behavior. It's a tell. When a team signs no one, they avoid accountability, avoid expectations, avoid defining success, avoid committing to an identity. I want to copy all, you know what? I want to copy all this because I think this right here, this part right here, exemplifies every problem that I have with this team and why the people attacking me are really just misguided. Like, I mean, let's just call it how it is. Bullet point 5 proves basically what I've been saying. But I don't want to, I don't want to say totally that. We want to keep false duality in mind. Correct. This is exactly what I'm saying. So it understands what I'm saying. Because I'm using its words. All right, I want to paste that link in too, and then we'll stop after this because I've gone long enough, and I think you people should understand the point at this point. Let's see. Gonna find that link. Here we go. So this article that I'm going to link in here, and I guess I'll link all these because I want people to understand that this Breslow relies heavily on AI. I punched in the entire Red Sox draft class through AI to understand why he made the picks that he did. That's basically why I'm pasting that link in there. But anyway, I also want to know, do it like, hold on. Let me add this part too. All right, let me pause here just so that anybody who's watching can kind of read through this. Again, I encourage anybody who doesn't have Grammarly, download the Grammarly browser extension because it will just do shit like this for you. But anyway, we don't need to go over every last grammar thing. Again, we've established this. Breslow should be a pitching expert. He should not be running a team. Again, I want you to argue with this thing, but I don't know how we can argue with this anymore in terms of this part of the equation. I just don't. If anybody's got an argument for this part, please say it, because we've tackled every last nook and cranny on this part. By the way, for anybody who wants to dunk on me, we have clarification right here, and I'm not hiding anything. We're doing a live video. It's basically saying that because I'm not in the MLB bureaucracy, sorry. I'm not into the union politics. I don't have ownership relationships. That's the reason why I'm not ready. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Again, we want to argue with it. We don't want to ever say we agree. So basically, for anybody that wants to dunk on me, it said I'm not ready because I don't have the connections, basically. Okay. All right. Well, I know that. I know that I don't have the authority. I'm not in charge. Yeah, I understand I don't have the authority. I'm not in charge. That can't be a reason. I understand what the 40-man roster looks like. All right, let's read this part. Again, if you're watching this, fans can reverse engineer the logic. You can type in anything that this Breslow does. It's telling you. Again, we want to say we don't want to ever agree with it, but this is the message for you, the fans. Fans can reverse engineer the logic. We know that Breslow uses this AI. You can reverse engineer any of his moves and break down. AI is going to explain why he did what he did every time. And we know that this is what he follows, but nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to do this. This is the part that I don't understand. Nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to take the fucking time to do this. This is the part I can't ever attack me all you want. Say I'm the bad guy all you want, but nobody ever counters with this. Nobody. To me, that's the most laughable part. I think we're good. I think anybody else have any questions? I mean, again, my challenge for the fans. So basically, it's saying that I would be better off running an NFL team, which is fine. But anyway, this right here, I think this was one of the most important things that was said. My challenge to the fans remains the same. You sitting at home, because we've already established Breslow relies heavily on the AI. Fans can reverse engineer his logic with any of the moves. Devers, Bregman, Oviedo, Sonny Gray. You can go in and AI will tell you why he did what he did, but nobody wants to do it. Explain that part to me. Just explain that part to me. So let's go over quickly what we've established. We've established that Breslow is not a total idiot in terms of pitching. We've established in terms of what the robot thinks. By the way, the robot speaks to him all the time. That he's a 3 or 4 out of 10 in terms of being an organizational leader. We've established that he doesn't understand leadership, culture, or roster construction. We've established all those things. But I'm the bad guy, right? I'm the fucking bad guy. I'm this fucking evil, horrible monster. And again, I'm going to leave you with this last challenge. And that Greg Hill interview exposed every problem with this Breslow. Let's close it out with this. You, the fan, can reverse engineer all the logic between any move that he's ever made, but none of you do it. I just want to know why. So feel free to comment. I'm here, but basically, again, I did this video live. There's nothing to hide, no edits. And I think we've pretty much established that this team, they're not going anywhere. And by the way, anybody who wants to dunk on me, anybody who will share this one part, anybody who wants to dunk on me, anybody, we didn't hide any of this. We didn't hide any of this. We did this live, no edits. The only reason why it says I'm not ready to run this team, the only reason is because I'm not plugged into the bullshit. It's the only reason. So anybody that wants to dunk on me, it's saying, and again, feel free to argue with it. It's saying the only reason why I'm not ready is because I'm not tied into bureaucracy or the CBA politics or ownership relationships. That's the only reason why it says I can't run this team, which is a problem that could be solved in 10 minutes by talking to the right people. This right here is very revealing. So again, anybody that wants to say, oh, I'm this fucking evil monster, I don't know what I'm talking about. The only reason, and we're not hiding any of this. We're not hiding any of this. The only reason why I'm perceived as not ready to run this team is because I don't have the right relationships. Right, but I'm a total idiot that doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, what do I know? Anyway, and by the way, anybody who actually tracks the receipts on Vendetta, I dare you to find somebody who is more accurate. But anyway, we'll close it here. I think this was a good guide, and I hope somebody learned something out there. So, all right, peace out, Girl Scout. Show must go on.